My favourite part of the show is speaking with Masuma Jafar on our one-to-one discussion. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa
I
rahmatullah.
wanted to ask you about women in leadership roles. Do you think we're doing enough to encourage girls, women, to be in public figures? And if not, is there a problem Islamically with women being in leadership roles?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding from an Islamic perspective. There is a hadith that is in Sahih Bukhari which talks about the fact that a community which has women as leaders will not be successful.
Sorry, why is that? I don't
it's a hadith that's there, and our scholars have looked at the hadith and the chain of narration, and they have said that there is a problem with the chain of narration, so this hadith cannot be accepted as authentic. So from our scholars, from the Shia perspective, we've been told that there is no problem with a woman taking on a leadership role at all, as long as her hijab is maintained, her physical hijab, her social hijab is being maintained. There's no problem with it at all.
And when you say, can we elaborate on the social hijab thing? Because sometimes we just think, you know, if we're dressed in a modest way, that's all we need. And obviously we're not going to go around acting in a lewd way, I would hope, but this concept of social hijab.
Okay, so the ruling is that there should be no unnecessary interaction. Who decides that? You as an individual.
Oh, great. And so I decide what is unnecessary. So if after work we've been to a conference for 20 hours and I want to have a meal with my team that happen to be males, it's fine.
If you feel it is necessary.
We're hungry, there's not a lot of hotels open, we need to find a restaurant.
Again, if you feel it is necessary from the perspective of team building, from the, or even, and even when you are in that meal situation, the interaction that happens, it has to be necessary interaction, not unnecessary. So you can't be sitting there laughing and joking and just, being very free. There has to be a barrier there, that there must be an obvious sort of social barrier to say, look, I'm a Muslim woman. There is only, so far you can sort of, you need to respect me.
But that's one of the problems, because we do come across standoffish. I can just picture myself with the menu wide up and looking over saying, oh, sorry, don't laugh, don't joke, but can we just have our dinner and go, please?
No, I don't think you have to sit there and blatantly say, don't laugh, don't joke, sort of thing. But I think it's how you come across. I mean, you have to realize that there has to be, there has to be a barrier there. You can't, just because you're dressed a certain way, doesn't mean, okay, now I can do whatever I want and say whatever I want and behave in the way I want. Yeah. Because if you think about it, and I was thinking about this a lot, if you think about it, we as women have a biological clock in us, okay? Yeah. We this is just my perception. I was just thinking about it, and I was thinking, how, I don't know, it's just, I do a lot of thinking, which maybe is not a good thing.
To think.
And I was thinking, you know what, we need, I think it's innate in us to try to attract the opposite sex, and we do things without even realizing. Sometimes for example, my husband will say, sometimes I'll say something or I'll laugh a certain way, and he'll say to me, that looks really sort of provocative, and I'm not meaning to be at all.
You're just being yourself and in
well,
a relaxed...
yeah.
And I think
and I think because it's innate in us to sort of try to God's put that in us. Then we have to be careful, and we have to realize that we may be doing it without even realizing that we're doing it, and that's why this ruling is there, that just be aware that you don't need to have more interaction than that is what is necessary.
Do you feel that we've made enough progress to encourage women to be in leadership roles or in positions where you need to make certain type of decisions in the Muslim community?
Within our centre, we have a leadership development program, where it's very encouraged for the women to actually go to, and where they learn about themselves, they learn the sort of person they are, they learn about politics and, you know, the different types of way politics is used, power and things like that.
But where is that going to lead them to, other than it's great to have development, but are they going
But
to...
it gives you that confidence to then maybe go towards something that you feel passionate about. As women, we generally do take up leadership roles within our own house. We're the ones who usually decide how the children are going to be brought up, you know, what schools they go to, what they wear, and you know, usually it's the mother who does all of these. How the house is run, what sort of decor the house has. You know, we do take up leadership roles, and we're very good at it within our own houses. So why would we not be good at it in the wider community? It's a matter of whether I feel passionate about it, whether I want to do it. I don't, you know, and whether there's a need for me to do it, and that are the questions I need to ask myself.
Do you think that you are supported by other women? I just want to put in my experience. When I'm in certain situations that require me to lead, say work or whatever, I find that a lot of the time, and this might just be a general phenomenon, I don't get any support from the sisters generally.
In what way? What support are you looking for?
Just moral support, encouragement. Maybe it's a thing that there's a little bit of envy, maybe there's a little bit of, well, I don't feel comfortable that you should be doing that. I've had a couple of sisters saying to me, I just mean in general, I don't mean in Islamic context, but you're taking away the prospect of a man making, being put in that role and making a living for his family. And that I was really shocked, because that came from a Muslim woman. I was like, well, instead of you being supportive and saying, oh, you know, maybe someone else, you're making a position for someone else, it was, well, you know, now some poor man is not going to be able to feed his family because you've taken his role.
I think the hadith of the Holy Prophet comes in very apt here, where 70 excuses before you judge the sister. Maybe her husband's out of work and he's not able to get a job, and maybe she's, you know, looking for anyone and everything to blame, except for the fact that, you know, for the fact that her husband's not got a job. I honestly don't think there's a problem with it, and I think as women, you know, I would feel proud if a sister, you know, took on a role. I don't think I could do certain roles. I don't like being out in the public and, you know.
But here you are.
Again, I think it's, you know, if I feel passionate about something and I feel that it's going to have, you know, it's going to make a difference in people's lives.
And if there's a need.
Yes, exactly.
Do you feel, what are you most proud about in your particular community in terms of how far women have come across? What are you most proud about there? I
think the fact that I think that, you know, it is actually encouraged for the women to take on roles. I mean, you know, we've got women in the EC now. You know, we have, you know, women running their own programs, and, you know, they're quite vocal. I mean, the chair lady decides how the women's side of the program is going to run, and the men don't have a say in it. And, you know, even when the youth are doing it, they have their own, you know, women, you know, the girls who will decide how the program's going to run. We have Stanmore Jaffrey's sports. Like the men, you know, the boys do their own sports, the girls do their own sports, and it's run by the youth, and they've taken on the role of leadership, and they're running it, and it's so successful. And it's beautiful to see how they're doing it.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you think women do it better than males do? Are we more?
I think women do everything better than men, generally.
MashaAllah, you heard that from her mouth, inshallah. I'm really encouraged by what you're saying. I really do hope the youth pick up, especially the young girls pick up, and like yourself, you set such a high example. I'm sure there'll be many sisters to follow you. I've really enjoyed this episode. I hope you have too, and I hope you feel invigorated and encouraged. I hope to see you on the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.